Well, listeners, there are some very, very special shows coming up very soon here in Australia. They're put together by Louder Than Love, which are a tribute to Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, and Alice in Chains. And we thought we want to know a little bit more about these amazing shows that are coming up. So we've actually got somebody from Louder Than Love on the phone right now to chat a little bit about it. Welcome to the program, Jon.
Hey man, how are you?
I'm really well. Jon, tell us a little bit about Louder Than Love. How did you all come together, and how did you come together to put together these amazing shows like we're about to see in Australia?
So I'm the lead singer for Nirvana Tribute, which is the only world touring Nirvana tribute band. And I've been going to Australia doing some tours there now for, I think this is our fourth tour there. So with our agency over there now, October Presents, we kind of collaborated to put together a mini festival, a mini grunge festival.
So tell us a little bit about your love for Nirvana. As you said, you're in a Nirvana tribute band. Tell us a little bit about how that came about for you, and where did that love for Nirvana first start?
Wow. Well, it started for me as a child. I fell in love with Nirvana from my first listening. I think it was Bleach, just before Nevermind came out, maybe. I am that old. So yeah, I was captivated by that band, and it lasted throughout my entire life, you know, like that love for that music, and that entire genre, really. And I don't know, I thought there was nobody out there that I could see that was taking those songs on the road, but globally. I mean, there were some tribute bands out there, but there was nobody doing global tours, and I felt that there were bands that were able to do that, tribute bands like the Australian Pink Floyd is one great example. And when you see their success, you know, it's easy to see how you can fit into that if you can just kind of find the right doors, you know, open the right doors. So I was fortunate enough that I was able to do that.
You mentioned falling in love with the music from a very, very early age. How long was it before in your life you found yourself starting to play the music yourself? Was it something that you did from an early age as well?
Yeah, I taught myself to play the guitar when I was like 8 or 9 years old, and again that was influenced by stuff like the Beatles and certainly by Kurt Cobain. So I've been playing the guitar, I've been playing live shows since I was a kid, since I was like 14, 15. So I've been doing it all my life, but I only started to do the tribute stuff when I was in my 20s. You know, at that point in my life, I was running a furniture store. So I needed a different path in life. I liked doing what I was doing, but it wasn't fulfilling, you know, whereas what I do now is it's the dream. It's the dream.
So when you had that dream and wanted to start it, how did you go about finding musicians to work with? Did you start asking people that you knew? Did you put ads up looking for people? How did that all start off for you?
Well, for me, I kind of asked a few people locally where I lived in Ireland, and I'll be honest with you, there was a lot of kind of laugh reactions. There was a drummer guy in particular, and I remember he came up to me several months after, like, we done a gig in, it was at the Matthew Street Festival in Liverpool to over 100,000 people, and he saw some of the footage of that, and he was like, he walked up to me, I don't suppose there's any opportunity still left. You know, so the people that did laugh at it in the beginning kind of saw that, you know, my determination paid off in the end. You know, it did pay off in the end, but I had to go online. You know, it was online that I kind of found the people that I ended up putting everything together with, or should I say they sort of found me. A guy called Steve. So before I knew it, I mean, like, I started this idea, I started down the path of it like midway through 2009, and by November 2009 I was on stage in Worcester, Massachusetts playing a show.
Yeah, that was my next question actually. How did the international side of it come about? Like you said before, there are a lot of tribute bands that say, even here in Australia, they'll play in Melbourne and they may travel to Sydney, but that's it. How did the international side of the band start up?
Instantly.
Yep.
It started instantly because the first show was like I said, was in Massachusetts. You know, and I was still living in Ireland at that point, and that came about because the drummer himself was from there.
Yep.
And I could see this opportunity in that alone. Right, there's the first international show. You know, you put that on a poster, right? There's a guy from Ireland that's doing a Nirvana tribute band, so he's now going international with this. But then a couple of weeks later, we were after signing on UK dates, European dates, you know, so it started to move quite quickly. And like I said, by August of the following year, we were performing to 100,000 people.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It moved quickly. It's, you know, that is down to, I mean, we put a lot of hard work and effort into that, but it does go to show you there was a gap in the market that people were just waiting to be filled.
Yep. So, John, when you're coming to a country like Australia that you don't get to come to all that often and you're putting together a show, how do you go about putting together a set list? Because, of course, Nirvana's got so many amazing tracks. So how do you go about putting together a set list for, say, your Australian tour?
Yeah, it can be difficult because people want to hear B-sides and they want to hear unplugged songs and they kind of want to hear a little bit of everything, you know. So you got to whittle that down to, obviously you need the hits in there. You know, everybody wants to hear Lithium. Everybody wants to hear Come As You Are or Teen Spirit, but there has to be some deeper cuts in there as well. So we tried to tailor it. And on this tour as well, we're going to mix things up a little bit. So there'll be something slightly different maybe, you know, throughout the tour as it goes along.
Now, you mentioned, of course, that this is like a little festival as well. How did you go about putting together the other performers that we'll see with you on those nights?
Some of them already work with our agent in Australia with October Presents, like the Pearl Jam Experience guys, and I think the Alice Remains guys maybe as well. So, yeah, we just sort of looked around for what we thought were the best, you know, and who could put this thing together with us, like, and pull it off. So obviously you need the big four in there. You need Nirvana, you need Pearl Jam, you need Alice in Chains, and you need like that Soundgarden, Chris Cornell kind of influence in there as well. So you never know, next time we may expand on this idea again and add some more, because there's certainly some more grunge orientated bands that are out there, you know, that would fit this as well.
Definitely. Now, I have to ask, as a Nirvana fan myself, my favourite albums of Nirvana are In Utero and also Bleach, which a lot of people look at me weird when I say that and don't say Nevermind. What's your favourite album? What's your favourite album and what's your favourite song by Nirvana?
Well, you've named my favourite albums, so Bleach and Nevermind, or Bleach and In Utero, sorry, and I get the same thing when I don't say Nevermind. People look at me kind of weird, but I love In Utero because I just love the rawness of that record, you know, and I like the fact that it wasn't released to great fanfare. People kind of rejected it, and if you've ever seen that MTV special where they sat down and listened to all the criticism and stuff, it was great. And Kurt didn't care, you know, because he was happy that he'd made a record that he was happy with, you know. I don't think anybody, it's no secret that he didn't like the mix on Nevermind at all. Yeah, you know, he knows that the pop punk aspect of all of those songs and the mix on those songs in particular is what kind of got Nirvana over with the fans. But I mean, Kurt wasn't happy with it, and you can see there's more of that raw aspect to their sound that he liked, and that they all liked, kind of that bleeds through the mix of In Utero, especially as we've gotten those deluxe versions down through the years. Anybody out there like that's a fan that sat down and listened or compared these mixes, you can hear over time how they've allowed a little bit more of that dirt to come through the mix.
Yeah, that's always something I've loved about the band. Even like their live album From the Muddy Banks of the Wishkah, that album left everything in there, whether there was feedback and fallback coming back from speakers, whether there was like little technical issues during songs, it left that in there. I love the fact that Nirvana were always a band that wanted everything to sound raw and they didn't want everything to sound overproduced.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you know, no performance was exactly the same. It was never that choreographed, and it was never, you know, their performance rehearsals or whatever were never that. Nothing was rigid. You know, even their gear wasn't rigid until it came to like maybe the last tour or so. But like, yeah, things were pretty loose with Nirvana, and that's like kind of some of the energy that we try to incorporate into the performance that we offer as well. You know, we try to have a little bit of fun on stage and stuff. We certainly want to capture that energy.
Definitely. Well, Jon, we are almost out of time. So to finish off, what would you like to say to people out there who are thinking about buying tickets to come along to Louder Than Love?
Value for money. Come on, folks. I mean, you're going to get 4 of the best tribute acts, you know, so I think that's definitely value for money. The Louder Than Love experience is definitely going to be one to be remembered. I think if you miss out on it and you see the footage afterwards, you're going to be kicking yourself.